Hello Year 3, Mrs Thomas here, and I'm reading the next part of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We were reading the part where Charlie and the other winners of the golden tickets are going down the chocolate river. Let's pick up the story where we left off. "Drink this," he said. "It'll do you good. You look starved to death." Then Mr Wonka filled a second mug and gave it to Grandpa Joe. "You too," he said. "You look like a skeleton. What's the matter? Hasn't there been anything to eat in your house lately?" "Not much," said Grandpa Joe. Charlie put the mug to his lips, and as the rich, warm, creamy chocolate ran down his throat into his empty tummy, his whole body from head to toe began to tingle with pleasure, and a feeling of intense happiness spread over him. "You like it?" asked Mr Wonka. "Oh, it's wonderful," Charlie said. "The creamiest, loveliest chocolate I've ever tasted," said Grandpa Joe, smacking his lips. "That's because it's been mixed by waterfall," Mr Wonka told him. The boat sped on down the river. The river was getting narrower. Then there was some kind of dark tunnel ahead, a great round tunnel that looked like an enormous pipe, and the river was running right into the tunnel, and so was the boat. "Row on!" shouted Mr Wonka, jumping up and waving his stick in the air. "Full speed ahead!" And with that, the Oompa Loompas rowing faster than ever, the boat shot into the pitch-dark tunnel, and all the passengers screamed with excitement. "How can they see where they're going?" shrieked Violet Beauregard in the darkness. "There's no knowing where they're going," cried Mr Wonka, hooting with laughter. There's no earthly way of knowing which direction they're going. There's no knowing where they're rowing, or which way the river's flowing. Not a speck of light is showing, so the danger must be growing. For the rowers keep on rowing, and they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing. "He's gone off his rocker," shouted one of the fathers aghast, and the other parents joined in the chorus of fright and shouting. "He's crazy," they shouted. "He's balmy. He's nutty. He's screwy. He's batty. He's dippy. He's dotty. He's daffy. He's goofy. He's beany. He's buggy. He's wacky. He's loony." "No, he's not," said Grandpa Joe. "Switch on the light," shouted Mr Wonka, and suddenly on came the lights, and the whole tunnel was brilliantly lit up, and Charlie could see that they were indeed inside a gigantic pipe, and the great upward curving walls of the pipe excuse me, were pure white and spotlessly clean. The river of chocolate was flowing very fast inside the pipe, and the Oompa Loompas were all rowing like mad, and the boat was rocketing along at a furious pace. Mr Wonka was jumping up and down in the back of the boat and calling to the rowers to row faster and faster still. He seemed to love the sensation of whizzing through a white tunnel in a pink boat on a chocolate river, and he clapped his hands and laughed and kept glancing at his passengers to see if they were enjoying it as much as he. "Look, Grandpa," cried Charlie, "there's a door in the wall." It was a green door, and it was set into the wall of the tunnel, just above the level of the river. As they flashed past it, there was enough time to read the writing on the door. "Store room number 54, it said. "All the creams. Dairy cream, whipped cream, violet cream, coffee cream, pineapple cream, vanilla cream, and hair cream." "Hair cream?" cried Mike TV. "You don't use hair cream." "Row on!" shouted Mr Wonka. "There's no time to answer silly questions." They streaked past a black door. "Store room number 71, it said. Whips, all shapes and sizes." "Whips!" cried Veruca Salt. "What on earth do you use whips for?" "For whipping cream, of course," said Mr Wonka. "How can you whip cream without whips? Whipping cream isn't whipping cream at all unless it's been whipped with whips. Just as a poached egg isn't a poached egg unless it's been stolen from the woods in the dead of night. Row on, please." They passed a yellow door on which it said, "Store room number 77. All the beans. Cacao beans, coffee beans, jelly beans, and has-beens." "Has-beens?" cried Violet Beauregard. "You're one yourself," said Mr Wonka. "There's no time for arguing. Press on, press on." But 5 seconds later, when a bright red door came into sight ahead, he suddenly waved his gold-topped cane in the air and shouted, "Stop the boat!"